After praying, Mary straightens the painting, hiding the writing on the wall, and enters the room on the first floor, where she steals the keys. But when she tried to open the gate, 4 nuns appeared. This clearly frightens Mary. She managed to cut the lock, but the chain prevented her from opening the gate. She tries to squeeze through a small gap, which takes a lot of time. Her leg is grabbed and broken. Such pain knocked Mary out. When she woke up, they had already put her in a coffin. All attempts to remove the lid led to nothing, meaning it is now buried. After some time, Cecilia walks towards the simple Italian border. Since she doesn't know Italian, everything happens very slowly. However, she's allowed through, after which a deacon is waiting for her, who helps Cecilia get to the monastery. The Mother Superior greets Cecilia, but she does not understand the language. But Isabella helps translate the greeting, after which the abbess asks Isabella to take Cecil to her room. Isabella tried to refuse, but the abbess forced her to complete the task. Isabella says that the monastery was built in 1632. Just below is the catacomb of St. Stephen, where no one is allowed to enter. Cecilia greets the other nuns, and then Isabella adds that one of them will die tomorrow, as she is very sick. Cecilia doesn't understand how she can talk about this so calmly. Although for Isabella, this is an integral part of their life. Francesca approaches them. She has dementia and asks where her father is. Isabella advises Cecilia to play along with Francesca. When Isabella finally brought Cecilia to her room, she warned her that it was a difficult place to live. A little later, she met Govan. Cecilia says that her last temple was closed due to low attendance. Then Tedeschi's father found her and hired her to this temple. Closer to the night, she saw Tedeschi in person. He translates the words of the cardinal, who gives her everything clearly and waits for the kiss on the ring. During dinner, Cecilia talks to Tedeschi. In the past, he was interested in science, but later God showed him the right path, and Cecilia ran across the ice and fell into the water. The doctors managed to save Cecilia. She is sure that God helped, and now she's trying to understand why he did it. Already in the toilet, she noticed a strange noise. Cecilia follows the sound and meets a strange woman with a red face. When suddenly the abbess approaches from behind, she reports that this nun is simply praying and also shows the nail with which Jesus was nailed. She also feels bad and turns on. Tomorrow Cecilia goes to confession, where she apologizes for her behavior. She was drunk, and that's why she fell. She regrets that the abbess saw her in such a state. The man simply turns his head and disappears into the darkness. Cecilia doesn't understand what this means, and then she's completely head over heels. She found 5 nuns wearing identical masks. When Cecilia was expelled, she woke up in her room. Francesco stood nearby, but as soon as Cecilia lit the lamp, she disappeared. In the morning, the abbess tells the new arrivals about their duties. Gwen was clearly bored, which the woman didn't like. Several days pass. Cecilia became friends with Gwen, but they were still followed by Isabella. Late at night, Cecilia wakes up to find that Francesco has cut off part of her hair. She calls Cecilia blessed, but since Cecilia does not know their language, she does not understand anything. Cecilia takes Francesca to her bed. Looking carefully at the legs, she notices patterns in the form of crosses. Tomorrow Cecilia's health deteriorated significantly. She had to seek help from a doctor and get tested. While waiting for the results, Cecilia looked out the window where a masked nun walked around. Suddenly a bird crashes into the window, greatly frightening the girl. She was then expected to be interrogated. Franco can't wait to find out if she was with a man. Cecilia immediately responds, no, as the Mother Superior shoves her ass into a drawer. Gala checked on Cecilia and reported that she had a child. This is called a miracle. Although Cecilia was clearly not happy about this. Cecilia tries to find out from Tedeschi why he chose her. Tedeschi reveals that this is why Cecilia survived the tragedy. 5 months pass. Cecilia loses a tooth. And during the bath, Isabel tries to eliminate Cecilia, shouting that she should have been in her place. Hearing the noise, the girls run up and take Isabella away, saying that they will have to try this with her again. Cecilia is examined by a doctor who confirms that the baby is fine. But Cecilia sets out to find out what exactly Isabella was screaming about. Tedeschi pretends that she is simply crazy, and he will do everything possible to prevent this from happening again. Cecilia is asked to be taken to a real hospital because something is happening to her health. But she is forbidden to leave the temple until the birth of the child. Walking down the street, she again saw nuns in masks. By the time the other lady dropped out, it was Isabella. Gwen no longer trusts this temple, and anyway, who knows exactly what's inside Cecilia? Tedeschi interrupts their conversation. Gwen then asks Glaff to tell them the truth, to which she is instantly twisted and taken away. In the evening, Cecilia cannot sleep, and one of the chains holding the picture breaks. She finds a Bible quote that says Satan can take the form of an angel. This worries Cecilia, and she tries to find a friend. But Gwen was nowhere to be found. Cecilia then raids the drawer where her file is kept. Inside is not only a newspaper clipping describing the day she fell through the ice, but also medical tests. Cecilia heard Gwen scream. Through the crack, you can see a nun in a red mask tearing off her tongue. And suddenly Cecilia pulls away. Francesca has already made an amulet from her hair. Cecilia asks her to help her escape from here. Francesca replies that she will never leave here. Tomorrow there will be no doctor in the temple. Cecilia took advantage of this. She pretended to bleed, which forced Tedeschi to take her to the hospital. Although Cecilia uses chicken, the woman noticed this and called Tedeschi, causing the escape attempt to fail. At the temple, Tedeschi says there are traces of blood on the nail. They collected his DNA, and now they want to revive him. He has been conducting experiments for the last 20 years, but everything has failed. And then Cecilia appeared, who turned out to be the perfect test subject. Scientifically, he was interested in genetics, but other scientists criticized his methods. Then he turned to the church for help. Cecilia's legs are burned with crosses, causing her to no longer be able to walk. To prevent him from running away, the doors are locked. Days pass. Dow reports that the child is moving and leaves to get the necessary tools. Cecilia takes advantage of the moment and eliminates the abyss. Franco was next. She takes a nail and pours gasoline into the laboratory. Tedeschi tries to stop her, saying that even if she dies, they will still find another person. Cecilia manages to sneak into the corridors, close the passage, and set the puddle on fire. But it was convenient that Tedeschi had a fire extinguisher next to him, puts out the flames, and knocks down the entrance. To hide, Cecilia goes down into the catacombs. The boys are chasing the girl. Cecilia cowers in the corner and turns off her flashlight. As Tedeschi leaves, she turns on the lamp and notices that Gwen has been excluded. Cecilia looks for the hole, but just a meter away from freedom, Tedeschi grabs it and begins to open it. But he did not know that she had a nail with which Cecilia would eliminate Tedeschi. Wounded, Cecilia crawls to freedom, where she has the child. From the sounds of it, this is way off topic. And then Cecilia picks up the stone to complete this experiment.